in Wollongong and say hi to everyone out there who listens in, particularly those guys on Facebook. I know my Facebook groups, you'll be getting this right now. So hey everyone, and anyone can have a chat to us today and check in with us today about any questions you might have for me or any questions for Aisha. So today I've got a special guest. Up until now I've only been doing the lives. I've just been doing lives like weekly by myself, usually from my home office on a Monday or a Tuesday. But every Wednesday I'm in the office here with Aisha, and Aisha's been helping me out with counselling, clients, sometimes doing coaching with clients, and also helping me around the office and admin roles and the like. So if you have any questions for me, or even any questions for Aisha, this is the right day to ask us today. So we just thought we'd put this out there today and just kind of get you guys to check in with us, and just a heads up about what it is we're doing. And there's another thing I guess I wanted to mention is to make sure that everyone knows we've got an open day in Wollongong this Saturday. Oh, hi to those people. I can see people joining us. I wonder if you are joining us from the Facebook group. If you're joining us from Facebook group, please say hi. So we can see all your chats. So if you say hi, we'll be able to say hi, and I might even be able to write back to you in real time. If you have any questions for me or Aisha, let me know. But I wanted to now use this time to have a chat to Aisha. Aisha's been doing a placement with me, and I guess I wanted to put her on the spot and ask her a few real life questions around how it's been to be a counselling and intern student with me. But in addition to that, what she's learned about the field, what she's learning and dealing with as she's going along. So I'm going to put that over to you, just in general, how have you found this internship, and what was it anything like you expected?
No. It's definitely been much bigger than life in a sense. I think that there's been a lot of personal developments and educational developments, and I think that my eyes are really open to what's possible and what's happening in the counselling space. And as somebody who's coming out of their degree, I feel like we're not adequately prepared from the studies, and so coming into placement, it is such a big step. And then it's not what you expect. So it's been a big process, I think, for me in that time.
Excellent. So I wanted to ask you, almost to talk to everyone watching, how do you feel like you think this is different to what you hear from the other students in your college class? What are they kind of generally saying, and what's your experience been, and how do you think this experience has been different working for me?
I think working for you and working in this space is working for a person, whereas I feel like a lot of people who are working in organizations like other students, it's very cold. It's very, this is your client, you go to that. There is no connection with your team. You can't really go to your supervisors. You're kind of left on your own in a lot of the sense, to fend for yourself, which isn't the experience that anybody wants in placement.
No.
And for me, I found that working here, I'm fully supported. I always ask questions. I'm a very curious person, so I have a lot of questions. And I feel like that relationship is really there, and I think a lot of people are missing out on connecting to who they're working with.
Yes,
sure.
Absolutely. I think that you said it all there, because that's always been my aim. To, if I give a student an experience, I'm wanting to make sure that everybody has a personalised experience within people who actually work with me and for me. And I know everybody will then have a different experience of working with me, either as a boss in your case, or if people do my training, or if people come to my counselling, or people come to my coaching. It's going to be a different experience for everyone. And how do you feel like you've now grown as a clinician and being able to hold the space in differently for clients now that you've had real world experience?
Yeah, I think it's been really different because when I'm lost or confused, I can always ask questions of like, how can I do this? And I think for me, learning about the online space as well actually has impacted how I work with people like in person, because it's about holding a space virtually or in person. It's the energy that you're bringing. It's who you're embodying right now in this space in a grounded way, which is completely different to what you read in textbooks or what you're taught in class. And that's actually what makes the difference with the client. They can feel your realness. They can feel you and being there with them in their darkness. And I find that's what transforms their lives, which makes me think, wow, this is really powerful. This is what I need.
Excellent. I'm super glad you said that because I was hoping. But you know, you never know. You never know what someone's going to say. And this isn't scripted. I wanted to make sure that this is, not only is this live, but it's also about, I didn't prepare Aisha for this at all. The only thing I did was put together a coach here. Someone said you were working with one of the best. Congrats. Excellent.
Yeah, I feel that for sure.
So I just wanted to check in with that person. Thank you. So that's someone on Facebook, probably someone on my groups, I hope. But even if it's not someone on my groups, it's fine. I'm super glad that person has said thank you. But obviously, I'll take the compliment, but at the same time, obviously, we all have our weaknesses and strengths. And I actually think that's more to the point that we actually need to think about that as clinicians, is working with our strengths and our weaknesses, even as clinicians, but even with the clients too, working out who we can see, who we want to see, who we're able to see, and who we need to refer on to, and what our strengths are. Because I think that this even happens in the business coaching space, because I know there's a lot of crazy stuff happening out. And we were talking about that this morning, and there's some things obviously that are unsavory that are happening out there in, coaching and counselling space, and I really need to keep, talking about that. But in generalities, we need to be there for each other, and that's what I'm all about. And I think you're now getting a handle of, like, I'm really about that. And how do we make sure we do that despite the instability and the unstable nature of life, death, and the universe, and COVID and everything else, and how do we keep being there for each other? And that's the point of this conversation today. I hope everybody's kind of getting a handle of that, is for me to reach out to people and just go, not only are you not alone, how can we do this together better? How can we do this together so we're supporting each other and like really supporting each other? Because I've been lucky enough to have some really good mentors in the past, and now it's like, how can we give back to the next generation? That's kind of so I want to put that as a question to you. What do you think about that question? Like, how can we give back to the next generation?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of noise out there in the world, especially as a new therapist. It's very confusing to kind of navigate that space. And we're kind of defenseless, right? Because we don't know any better. So whoever we come to, we hope they have the best intentions for us. I think the relationship we have, which is more of a mentorship sort of relationship, I can really see how your experience and your knowledge is really going to help guide me to where I want to go in my career. And I think that's what people need to think about. It's like, what were you like when you were a brand new therapist, when you didn't know anything, where everything was confusing, and what would you want to talk to that person about? What would you want to do for them? And think about, well, can you give back? Can you take time to take somebody on to answer some questions, just to be there? And it's a pretty confusing space. So I think anybody who's willing to put their hand up and be like, hey, I'm here, ask me your questions, and I can help support you. I think that's exactly what we need right now.
Excellent. And I think you probably understand this, but I want to say this, as reiterate this almost like for the field, is we need to be doing that more for the next generation, because I see there's like a sea of practitioners doing business coaching, doing all this kind of stuff, but then are they really actually doing it from the heart? Like, are they actually doing it so that it's actually a mentoring space, so that it's I will help build you up because I had someone to help do that for me, rather than forget about where you came from and then just ruin the next generation, dare I say it. We need to think about that too. Sure. It's how do we keep kind of keeping on with supporting each other, because if we don't support each other, then we lose the empathy and
exactly.
connection with our clients.
Yeah.
If we don't feel like we're getting the love from the institutions and the industry in general, we aren't going to be able to give back to our clients, and then we'll become burnt out before we even start.
Yeah.
I don't know what you think about that.
Definitely, yeah. No, I think the thing is with counselling, I find that it's a very competitive space, which is something that I did not expect at all. Like in uni, it looks all nice and pretty. We're all friends and we're all going to get along. But, the business world is rough, and it is a bit of a dog-eat-dog world, who comes first. And I think that has really bled into the philosophy of going to private practice, where people like myself who are just starting out go, oh my God, this is not what I expected. What is going on? And how am I meant to work with clients when I'm in fear of abundance and I'm in fear of what I can do for myself? I'm not going to be the best version of myself. And I think that's something that no one can prepare you for until you're there, and then you have to sink or swim.
Yeah. I'm super glad you brought in that concept of abundance, because I really work with that, and I, just trying to take heed of the knowledge from some of the people who actually mentored me and said there's always enough work. So we've got to come back to there's enough work for everyone, and how can we help each other do that?
Yeah.
That's the key, is how can we help each other do that, rather than coming from what's called a lack mentality. And in the coaching space, there's a lot of discussion around this, and how can we make sure that we're not judging people for that, and instead how are we going to lift each other up. And for me, it's like in the counselling business space, in the private practice space, but it's also in the mentorship space, it's in the business coaching space, it's across the world in the mental health space now, because there's all these podcasts, there's so many things, like what is going on, and we just look around and you can imagine how someone like yourself would be confused. So what would someone like yourself be best to do if you're confused, do you think? What would your answer be to people?
I think if you're confused and wondering, like, is this the right person to work with? Am I going to invest my money into this person, like a business coach, something like that? You really have to think about, well, is this person going to provide me with a relationship that's going to help me to grow? Yeah. Ultimately, at the end of the day, that's what you're looking for out of any sort of business coaching. You want growth, you want guidance, and you want someone to help show you the way. I think you can tell by someone's energy how they talk to you and work with you. Are they about the money, or are they about your transformation? Are they about helping you achieve your goals? Yes. And so I think intuitively you've got to listen to yourself, because you know, even if it sounds so good and the promises sound amazing and it's all well and great, but if they actually don't want to work with you, then they're not the right person for you. No, absolutely. I'm hearing you 100%, and on many levels. I think because I had that even as a student myself coming out with some people, and I was shocked when I started up private practice locally that people wanted to cut me out, and so that was shocking to me. And then it's like, how can I find people to work with? And so over time I have. But it's sometimes, sink or swim. And it's working out, who can I go to that I can trust to gain information about the industry, and they're not going to just use that information to then catapult their business. For sure. I think you definitely have to do your research. Really have to look at what is a person's qualifications, what have they done, what have they achieved for other people. You have to get very curious. I think curiosity is your tool in this sort of space, right? It's the only thing that's going to help you get out of the confusion, by asking more questions and finding the answers that you need. I think it'll lead you to the person that you're meant to be working with. Absolutely. I love that answer. All right. Yes. I'm enthusiastic because there's just not enough of this kind of conversation around the real conversations about what actually is going on in the world, but in the mental health space, and how we're helping the community. But we hide behind often confidentiality and privacy and all that, which is fine because it needs to be the case. But then when we're often hiding behind brands and other things, and then it's just business. No, it's not. That's about someone's life and livelihood. So please, just
we need to be careful about how we interact with each other to lift people up. So yeah, you know, it comes with whether someone's qualified or not, but also whether there's someone actually, whether you feel like they actually care about you. One of the best experiences I had in business coaching would not be expected from everyone here, and just to share with everyone, was a coach who took me on and it didn't work, and she gave me my money back. That was one of the best experiences I had. She actually cared about me enough to go, well, I'm not for you anymore. And here you go, here's half your money back, because I realised that you need to go off and see someone else. And that's the kind of relationship you want in business, is even if it ends not as well as you'd like, I haven't then wasted my time and my money. So at least I've just wasted a bit of time, but then I'm more likely to refer to people to her in the future because she does the right thing.
Exactly.
It's not just doing what you say you're going to do. It's like walking the walk and talking the talk.
Yeah, how can we expect our clients to live authentically in their lives if we're not doing that ourselves? I think, you know, a lot of the process in therapy is a form of reparenting, right? We're modelling the correct behaviour.
Absolutely.
So we need to embody that in our personal lives, as a counsellor, in business, everywhere. So we can be congruent, so we can be authentic.
And you know, life comes, I don't know, this, you would understand this, life comes at us at times, and I'm a mum and I'm not perfect, but I think we need to acknowledge the imperfections at the same time as being able to have what Brene Brown would have, almost like the circle back conversations. To go, oh, I stuffed up then. Admit you stuffed up. And then do something about it.
100%.
So I think this has been a great conversation. Thanks to those people who've commented and you know, talked to us here. What I want to now just say out loud to everyone is just, we'd love to see you this coming Saturday. Thank you for listening in. So this Saturday is our open day, and so you'll get to see Aisha and myself from the office and all the other people from our office. So you'll get to meet Elsa, you'll get to meet Susan, and you'll get to meet Tomoko and myself and Aisha, all the people who are associated with the office at the AOTT Healing Centre. It will be great. There'll be some Japanese healing sessions, and you'll get a chance to see particularly Tomoko. She's amazing, and not that anyone else isn't. It's just, she's just amazing with what she does. It's quite different but complementary to the therapists in this space. So yes, come down and just look up the stuff on LinkedIn. If you're here on LinkedIn, you can look it up on my profile. There's the details, and you can book in. It's at Sticky Tickets, let me know if you need me to put anything here. But that's another reason we did this conversation today, so you could get to know us, and we hope you guys can come down. And I guess then, if anyone has any questions, just hit us up. But we're going to say goodbye for now, and thanks for listening in and listening to our conversation, and thank you, Aisha, for joining me today. This is kind of a different thing, and a different thing for someone on placement to do this. So thanks everyone for listening in. We're going to say goodbye for now, and see you on the flip side for the next Transforming Transmissions next time. Bye guys.
Bye.